I'm Robin Amler of IBS Intelligence, and you're listening to the IBS iViews podcast. With me is Samier Khan, Managing Director, Asia Pacific for Codebase Technologies. We're going to begin by talking about open banking in Asia, Samier. What's the framework out there at the moment? What's the regulatory framework?
If you look at how things have evolved in Asia Pacific, it's quite a diverse geography where Hong Kong and Australia have taken a very regulatory approach. Countries like Singapore, Malaysia, and some of the other countries like Thailand and Philippines, they are taking a very market-driven approach. So what they have is a set of protocol around how the journey. And if you look at the cost for customer acquisition for those traditional banks, it's very high. Plus, traditional banks have a different thought process. They want to look at whether maintaining that customer, is it going to be an expensive proposition? So they don't want to see any red, right? Digital transformation, customer acquisition for a process is very complicated. There's a lot of friction. With COVID, there was no chance of having friction in these interactions, right? So no branch visits, no proof of life checks. Everything had to be made available remotely. We are an aggregator of enabled services. So we have 470 plus APIs that can actually completely build a neobank. What is a neobank? Probably a neobank, in my mind, is a bank that does not require a regulatory license. They don't need a banking license. They ride on a bank's existing license. So they're a digital arm. They can be completely branded differently. If your business proposition is to become the next LexisNexis, you need the infrastructure, and Codebase becomes the right place to go to get that whole stack rather than build everything on your own.
You mentioned a couple of the ways Codebase itself is offering solutions when you were speaking a moment ago. Where's the company driving towards? What are the key solutions you're working on now?
From an Asia Pacific perspective, there is onboarding, and I've spoken a lot about that today, and seamless onboarding. We call it instant onboarding. We believe that banks can make the right use of technology stack, which we have. We have a proprietary stack, and they can take advantage of that. And they might have an onboarding solution in place. So we're not really asking financial banks, let's say, to rip and replace. But what we're saying is that we understand the onboarding journey. We'll work with you to help your product or help your interface or your mobile banking onboarding engine. We'll help to transform it into one seamless application experience. So from the time, when the person downloads an application, let's say he wants to apply for a loan or wants to open an account with HSBC, and he can go onto a website and drop the app, and the app would be able to pick up information using APIs at the back end. So there's a lot of financial plumbing that happens behind. It's already been done. We already have made that competency available on the app. So all the customer has to really do is adopt the app, and it will create for a seamless experience, right? So that's one very large area. Financial services, and for every product that the bank proposes to sell, they have to do an onboarding. They have to onboard that customer into that product engagement, right? Let's put it that way. So whether it's cards, whether it's loans, whether it's insurance, it's a new product entry, right? A new onboarding journey. So to make that seamless, we use, our platform does this very seamlessly, picking up data from different silos, even from public, as I said, public infrastructure, societal platforms, and the data that the bank has, and make the journey shorter. From the conversations I have, that's an exciting place where Codebase is in, which is a clear differentiator from a lot of other products out there in the market. I spoke about open APIs, and what Codebase has as is a platform called Fintegrator, which is a collection of, at this stage, we have about 470 plus APIs that actually do everything for you. For a financial services institution, pretty much can convert the bank to or make the bank into a digital bank, a digital front with all the APIs that we have. So it does fraud, it has KYC, it does AML, it does payments, it takes care of your CASA accounts and interaction between the legacy system and your front-end system. And we've done this very successfully with traditional banks like Kuwait Finance House and Jazeel, which is the digital arm of Kuwait Finance House. in Bahrain. We aim to do that in this geography as well. There's a lot of conversation around digitalization, and the best way to digitalize today, people talk about cloud, AI, and so on. I think the best way is really API driven. We target, in internal conversations, we speak about, the team says that we should be ready with more than 800 APIs by the end of the year. That's an enormous amount of effort that Codebase is putting in so that the bank does not have to create their own teams and start building those APIs. So all they have to do is talk to us, and we can create the entire innovation lab for them so that they can exercise these APIs and see how they could create new products and services, onboard people very quickly, seamlessly. Open API